in this episode, I want to share something not feeling like your real personality, feeling the old you from the inside, the new you from the outside. So I think this is a great topic because I felt like this for such a long time. It felt like I was always in between these two different worlds. So on one side, I felt like my mind wanted to do everything I could do before the accident, but my body was just holding me back. And it's so hard because the people around me, they noticed the new me, but from the inside I was the old me. I was still this excited person with a lot of energy, but I wasn't able to express these feelings to everyone. And it felt so weird because I still felt old me, but people did see the new me. And I think so many people are struggling with this problem, with this thing, and it's so hard about what's the best thing to do. Should you listen to your mind? Should you push yourself? Is it better to hold yourself back? And how to communicate this to the people around you? Well, there are so many struggles that comes with this topic. So I want to tell you a bit more about how I struggled with this in my journey. So you can decide if you relate to this as well, or if you think, hey, I'm struggling with this too, or this could help, or yeah, just listen to what my experience. And I really believe when people tell more about their experience, then other people can learn from it as well. So, well, at the beginning of my journey, I think in my first year, I didn't feel this that much because I was always busy with myself, with improving my symptoms, and I didn't thought about the fact that this could last for a longer time. So let's say this was the first 6 months. So I was just focused on, okay, I need to get better and this is only temporary. I will move forward. So there was no need for me to think about, yeah, just being somewhere in these two worlds, about thinking of the old me and the new me. There was no need for me to think about it because I thought I am better within a few months. I don't even have to think about a new life. So I just kept continuing looking for treatments, visiting my doctor, and I ignored this emotional side of having a concussion. And I think this is what most people struggle with. They focus on the physical aspect of getting better, but the emotional part of having a concussion, for me, it was way harder than the physical parts. And of course, both of them are connected. So yeah, I struggled a lot with this. And I started to notice after 1 year that I had this question in my mind almost every day. I didn't know what to do. I had this question, like, will I ever get better? And for how long? How long does it take that I will feel like this, that I can do the things that I really wanted to do for so long, that my old meal really liked? For example, I was addicted to traveling. I loved it so much. I could be on the road every day, and I think all my savings, I spent all my savings to traveling. And after the accident, I wasn't able to travel anymore. I couldn't handle the airport. I couldn't handle anything like figuring out what flight I need to take, packing my stuff. It was just too much. And this was one thing, I think the main thing for me that changed. And it was it was always a struggle because my mind told me, you want to travel, you want to see the whole world, but my body was telling me, you can't do this, it's too much. So this was a struggle. I was in between these two worlds and I didn't know what to do. Did I need to push myself, or was it okay to feel like this? Is it a temporary feeling? I was so lost, and I just ignored the fact. I didn't want to think about the fact that this could maybe last a bit longer, or what if this would be the rest of my life? I had so many questions, and almost no one could answer all the questions that I had in my mind. So I went to many doctors, but most of them yeah, they just didn't know what to do. Some of them told me you need to live with it. Other people told me it just take time, but no one could answer the question how long this would take. So after 1 year, I just knew something needed to change because it didn't feel that temporary anymore. It felt like this would be, yeah, maybe this will take a longer than I thought. And I need to change something in my mindset. I felt I can't do this anymore. I want to be happy instead of in this survival mode every day and not knowing what to do, dealing with all the uncertainty, not getting answers to my questions. So I focused on my mindset. I started to focus on this seriously after 1.5 years. And I talked to so many people, psychologists, coaches, other people who were in the same situation. I talked to a lot of them. And all of them, I noticed all of them, they were struggling with the same thing. Like they didn't feel people just still saw them as their real, like for example my friends, they still didn't see me, well, they compared me with the old me. They still saw the old person, but they knew, for example, that I couldn't join any parties anymore, that I couldn't go out to bars or to restaurants. So it was so hard because they still asked me to go out. They still told me, oh, next week will be this festival. And they didn't realize I couldn't do those things anymore. And of course, I communicated it, but people didn't see there was something wrong, right? People, it's an invisible thing. So it was hard to communicate about this to friends, to family. I felt I really want to be the old person, and people still saw me as the old person, but I didn't feel like that anymore. For yeah, I felt like there was a new world waiting for me, but I couldn't let go of the old world, and I think that's the hardest thing because I didn't know if I had to let go of the old world, because maybe one day I would be better, right? I would be healed 100%. Why should I let go of my old worlds, of my old friends? But when you suffer with symptoms for a longer time, I think you will reach a point where you feel, okay, I need to change something because I don't want to put my life on pause for so long. I want to enjoy life instead of waiting for a miracle to happen, waiting for a treatment that will help. I was all the time in this waiting state, and I didn't want to do that anymore. So I needed to make changes. I made a list of things that I needed to let go in order to move forward. And there are so many things, and I share this many times in the community as well. And I'm not the only one who struggled with this. There are so many people struggling with it. And by sharing more about this topic, more about these struggles, I believe we can all learn from each other. And sometimes you just need another insight from another person to move forward, because it's okay. You can do anything, or you can do everything by yourself, and that's okay. And yeah, I couldn't move forward all by myself. I needed help too. And I think it's very brave to ask for help. And I think that's the way to move forward. And of course, you can still try to figure out everything by yourself. But I know the way to healing is way faster when you ask for help and when you don't have to do everything alone or figuring out everything by yourself.